Okay, in today's video, we will look at five key considerations for strengthen and weaken questions. Strengthen and weaken questions. All right. Okay, so point number one. Point number one, do not try to be too academic on these problem types. So unlike some of the other GMAT CR questions, such as inference, conclusion, or must be true, that require you to use formal logic, on strength and weaken questions, you need to use real world thinking. You should not be using formal logic. Any attempt to approach these problems in a rule-based or deductive way is going to be counterproductive. Instead, you should use the same kind of thinking that you normally use in your day-to-day worldly conversations, where you are okay to make little assumptions and most probable interpretations, where you update your believability on the go based on the discussions that you are having. That's how we operate in the day-to-day life. This is exactly what your mindset should be while attempting strength and weaken questions. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two that I want you to focus on is the fact that these questions have a very narrow focus, have a very narrow focus, and generally one issue at hand that you need to tackle. Any option that does not address this issue at hand is going to be incorrect. So you need to calmly identify the issue at hand before moving to the answer choices. Okay. Third point is you do not need to identify assumptions first. Most of the times you are suggested to identify assumptions and then go ahead and look at the answer choices and then find the weakness. I do not suggest do you do that. So do not identify assumptions first. And why do I say that? So it's like, you're holding your nose indirectly from behind your head. Remember, in the real world conversations, we do not go around identifying assumptions in people's statement or our own statements. Instead, weakening or strengthening comes more naturally to us, and we tend to do that directly. Our brains are not hardwired to make explicit assumptions. That's why these are called assumptions in the first place. So let's not make our life complicated by trying to find assumptions first and then identifying weakness or strengtheners for which human beings are not naturally gifted. See, we even have this negation tool in assumption. The whole idea of that negation tool is to make a statement or a question which is non natural for us, that assumption question, and make it into almost like a weakener question, which is more natural to us. So, why would you want to complicate by making a weaken or strengthen question into an assumption thing first and then going about weaken or strengthen? So, steer clear of finding assumptions. And just address the issue at hand that we talked about in point number two. All right. Fourth key consideration, the correct answer choice, the correct answer choice will generally be will generally be a new consideration from outside the passage. Okay. So, being within the realm of the passage, it is almost impossible to strengthen or weaken an argument. Nothing already stated can change believability because what is stated in there is already accounted for in the claim that author is making. So the right answer introduces fresh, relevant info that connects directly to the issue. If an option just restates what you know from the argument, it is highly likely that it's going to be a wrong option. In fact, in such questions, contrary to many practices, the correct answer has to be out of scope. If there is an answer which is out of scope, that is very much in contention, you should not be ruling that out. Okay, very, very important. Okay, now the fifth consideration. Do not take extreme stances when it comes to strengthen or weaken questions. What I mean is, a strengthener does not have to make the argument bulletproof. On the other hand, weakener does not have to kill the argument. Even a small nudge, something that slightly increases or decreases credibility is enough. All right, so you do not need to absolutely prove or absolutely destroy the argument. Okay, so if you imbibe these five points that I discussed, you will be able to nail every single strength and weaken questions on the GMAT every single time. Make sure you try, and of course, there are a bunch of other things that you need to do with the argument itself, with the passage itself, the way you interpret it, the way you think about it, the way you personalize it. All of those are important as well, but these five are the guiding force for you when it comes to strength and weekend questions. Thank you.